As of 2019, Gordon D. Sondland is the United States Ambassador to the European Union. He is also the founder and former chairman of Provenance Hotels and co-founder of the merchant bank Aspen Capital. He was a major donor to Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, and testified to Congress in the Trump-Ukraine scandal. After his sworn testimony, Sondland submitted a written revision to Congress claiming testimonies of other witnesses had caused him to recall important facts about the existence of a quid pro quo. Early life and education. Sondland was born to a Jewish family in Seattle, Washington, the son of Frida and Gunther Sondland. His parents fled Europe during the Holocaust, first to Uruguay and then in 1953, to Seattle, where they opened a dry cleaning business. Sondland has a sister 18 years his senior. Sondland attended the University of Washington but dropped out and became a commercial real estate salesman. Career. In 1985, Sondland raised $7.8 million from friends and his wealthy brother-in-law and purchased the Roosevelt Hotel, a bankrupt Seattle hotel. Sondland's company, Provenance Hotels, owns and manages hotels throughout the United States, including the Hotel Max and Hotel Theodore in Seattle, Washington, Hotel Murano in Tacoma, Washington, Hotel Deluxe, Hotel Usha, Sentinel, Dossier, and Heathman Hotel in Portland, Oregon, the Hotel Preston in Nashville, Tennessee, and Old No. 77 Hotel in Chandlery in New Orleans, Louisiana. In 1998, Sondland purchased and redeveloped 4 hotels in Seattle, Portland, and Denver, including Seattle's Alexis Hotel in partnership with Bill Kimpton. Sondland also is a principal in Seattle's Paramount Hotel. Through Provenance Hotels, Sondland is developing hotel projects throughout the U.S., including in Seattle, Hermosa Beach, California and Los Angeles, California. Provenance Hotels specializes in adaptations of old buildings, such as with the Hotel Murano in Tacoma, Washington, which used to be a conference Sheraton, but now includes glass art by 46 artists including Seattle's Dale Chihuly. Provenance is also known for designing or remodeling each hotel around themes that contain elements that relate to a location's history, art, culture, and local businesses. In 2013, Sondland and Provenance completed a renovation of Portland's historic Governor Hotel, renaming it Sentinel. In December 2015, Sondland and Provenance announced the establishment of the company's first real estate investment fund, Provenance Hotel Partners Fund I. The $525 million fund was created specifically for hotel real estate investment and, at the time of its announcement, was the 4th largest fund ever launched in the state of Oregon. Following his appointment as U.S. Ambassador to the European Union by President Trump, Sondland's name was removed from the Provenance Hotel's website and replaced with that of his wife, who is now listed as the chairman. Political involvement. Sondland was a member of the transition team for Oregon Democratic Governor Ted Kulongoski's administration and was appointed by Kulongoski to serve on the board of the Governor's Office of Film and Television. He was appointed the Commission's chair in 2002 and has served in that capacity until 2015. During his tenure on the film board, Sondland was instrumental in bringing the production of such television series as Leverage, The Librarians and Grimm to Oregon, and presided over the state securing the production of feature-length films such as Wild starring Reese Witherspoon, Thumbsucker starring Tilda Swinton and The Ring 2 starring Naomi Watts. At the 2015 Oregon Film Annual Governors Awards, Sondland received the Achievement in Film Service Award for his role in growing Oregon's film industry. Sondland also served as Oregon liaison to the White House. As an advisor to Kulongoski, Sondland suggested appointing Ted Wheeler as state treasurer, which Kulongoski did in 2010. In 2007, President George W. Bush appointed Sondland as a member of the Commission on White House Fellows. Sondland collaborated with President Bush and Jay Leno on an annual charitable auction of an autographed vehicle, with proceeds benefiting the Fishire House Foundation and the George W. Bush Foundation's Military Service Initiative. He was a bundler for Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign, and in 2012, Sondland was selected to serve as a member of Mitt Romney's presidential transition team. During the 2016 United States presidential election, Sondland initially supported Donald Trump, but canceled a fundraiser and repudiated Trump for his attacks on Khizr and Ghazala Khan. In April 2017, it was revealed that 4 companies registered to Sondland donated $1 million to the Donald Trump Inaugural Committee. United States Ambassador to the European Union. On March 12, 2018, The Wall Street Journal reported that President Trump selected Sondland to be the next United States Ambassador to the European Union. On May 10, 2018, the White House announced that Sondland's nomination had been sent to the U.S. Senate. He was confirmed by the Senate on June 28, 2018. On July 9, 2018, Sondland presented his credentials at the European Commission and to President of the European Council Donald Tusk. Sondland's nomination received bipartisan support during his confirmation hearing before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on June 21, 2018. Both Senator Ron Wyden and Senator Tom Tillis testified in support of Sondland. Senator Wyden suggested that Sondland's family history is both fascinating and instructive as to why he has the experience and understanding to serve as the U.S. ambassador to the EU, noting how his Jewish parents fled Nazi Germany before coming to the United States. As ambassador, Sondland has made strengthening U.S.-EU trade relations a top priority. He has supported using a strong U.S.-EU economic partnership to counter what Sondland has called economic aggression and unfair trade practices from China. In pursuit of this end, Sondland has promoted the idea of giving European governments access to the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States to allow them to better screen investors. Sondland has also pledged to work with the EU to address global security threats. He has been the Trump administration's lead in talks with EU member countries on the U.S.'s decertification and withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal. Sondland has repeatedly criticized EU member countries' creation of a special purpose vehicle to bypass reimposed U.S. sanctions on Iran, calling the SPV a paper tiger. Sondland has also been a vocal opponent of the construction of Russia's Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which would transport gas across the Baltic Sea to the EU. He has argued that the pipeline would leave the EU dependent upon Russia for its energy needs and increase Russia's leverage on key U.S. allies in NATO. Sondland argued that Putin uses energy as a political weapon. The EU should not rely on a bare-chested version of the Harry Potter villain Lord Voldemort as a supplier, even if his gas is a bit cheaper. Sondland has also worked on data protection rules regarding U.S. compliance with the EU-US Privacy Shield. Trump-Ukraine scandal. On September 26, 2019, the United States House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence released the unclassified text of the whistleblower complaint regarding the interactions between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In this document, Ambassador Sondland, along with the U.S. Special Representative for Ukraine negotiations, Ambassador Kurt Volker, were described as having provided advice to the Ukrainian leadership about how to navigate the demands that the president had made of Mr. Zelensky. After further investigation, The Washington Post concluded that Sondland had seized control of the Ukraine portfolio to help Trump. In the complaint released by the U.S. Select Committee on Intelligence, Sondland's involvement in President Donald Trump's activity was outlined in a text conversation with the interim U.S. Charged Affairs for Ukraine Bill Taylor. Bill Taylor, as I said on the phone, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign. It took Sondland approximately 5 hours to reply to Taylor's text message, and it was later revealed that Sondland had called Trump prior to writing a response, in which the president repeated the phrase "no quid pro quo" several times. Gordon Sondland, Bill, I believe you are incorrect about President Trump's intentions. The president has been crystal clear: no quid pro quos of any kind. The president is trying to evaluate whether Ukraine is truly going to adopt the transparency and reforms that President Zelensky promised during his campaign. I suggest we stop the back and forth by text. If you still have concerns, I recommend you give Lisa Kenna or us a call to discuss them directly. Thanks. On October 8, the Trump administration attempted to block Sondland from testifying in the impeachment inquiry against Donald Trump. Sondland testified October 17, 2019. On November 5, The New York Times reported that Sondland had provided updated testimony stating that he did in fact view delivery of the aid package as contingent upon the Ukrainian government publicly opening an investigation of Trump's political rivals as desired by the president. According to the testimony, he relayed this position to Ukrainian government officials. On November 13, William Taylor, the acting head of the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, testified that a staff member who was later identified as David Holmes told him that he overheard a phone conversation about Ukraine investigations between Sondland and the president at a restaurant in Kiev. The call was made the day following Trump's phone call to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in which he asked Zelensky to investigate corruption. Taylor said there were two other people having lunch in the restaurant, and they heard the conversation as well. Appearing in a closed-door inquiry on November 15, in a written opening statement, Holmes said he heard Trump ask, "So, he's gonna do the investigation?" And Sondland replied, "He's gonna do it," adding Zelensky will do anything you ask him to. Holmes also testified that Sondland later told him that Trump did not give a shit about Ukraine and only cared about the big stuff that benefits the president, like the Biden investigation that Mr. Giuliani was pushing. In the same conversation, Sondland was also heard to characterize President Zelensky's strongly favorable view of President Trump, informing the latter that Zelensky loves your ass. On November 16, the House impeachment investigators released the closed-door testimony of former National Security Council official Tim Morrison. Morrison voiced concern, saying that during the time that he had worked with Sondland he was not following the normal diplomatic process as used by other personnel, but rather was on a second track, chiefly led by Sondland, where Rudy Giuliani's name would come up. Morrison also testified that he had heard from Sondland that U.S. aid to Ukraine was conditioned on the country announcing an investigation into former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. Morrison said that on September 7, Sondland told him of a phone call he'd had from Trump in which the president said that there was no quid pro quo, but President Zelensky must announce the opening of the investigations and he should want to do it. Philanthropy. Sondland founded the Gordon Sondland and Catherine J. Durant Foundation in 1999, which was established to help families and boost communities. It has given money to various nonprofits, including $1 million to the Portland Art Museum to endow permanent access for children under the age of 18. The foundation helped establish a distinguished chair in spine for pediatric orthopedic spine research at the Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children in 2012. In 2014, the foundation gave a $1 million endowment to Oregon Health and Science University to establish the Sondland-Durant Distinguished Research Conference, a cancer research summit, to begin in 2016. In 2017, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Duke University was created with the support of the foundation. In November 2019, the Portland Business Journal noted that following Sondland's appointment as ambassador, the Gordon D. Sondland and Catherine J. Durant Foundation modified its website by removing a biography tab for Sondland and adding 2 new ones for the couple's children. Personal life. In 1993, Sondland married Catherine Durant, who is the founder and managing partner of Atlas/RTG, a holding company with a portfolio of shopping centers throughout Oregon. Until 2016, Durant was the chairperson of the Oregon Investment Council, the body that oversees the over $85 billion Public Employees Retirement System Fund. They have 2 children, Max and Lucy.